missed me. I hope you did. I missed you. Glad to be here today. I have been so excited about today's show because of just a music clip or two. But I couldn't get to it because of a late press conference, which is going to cost Jen again. Anyway, Danny Thompson here, counting down the days to restoration when we are finally out of the what? Where is it? Come on, production crew. The dark winter of the Biden regime. Yeah, a little out of order today, but it just seemed to fit. So the dark winter days are upon us of the Biden regime, and whom we lovingly refer to around here as the what? The who? The thief in chief. Yeah. The thief in chief. Yeah. The thief in chief. Yeah. All right. He's got big weekend plans, so I don't know if he'll be around tomorrow. Anyway, here we are, and we're going to have to get going because we have a lot of show. I'm not good at Ed Sullivan, really, and most people don't know who he is anymore. So, whom do we begin with? The poster child for the Biden regime, Dr. Rachel Levine. What song do we have today? I have already teased my wife, saying she will not be able to control herself over this. Perhaps you won't either, but here we go. It's the way I feel today. Uh-oh. Where did you come from, baby? I'm sure he hears that every day. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I was sitting there thinking, what song could I do? And I thought, I believe in miracles, because if anybody thinks he is a she, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. But we have more news. I thought my wife would think that was funnier. But anyway, Mississippi governor signs bill banning transgender athletes from competing on girls or women's sports teams. Oh, it's just so cruel, isn't it? That boys cannot compete against girls. What's this country coming to? But we do have, it made it to the press conference. I have not seen it. Politico did a poll on this, and a savvy reporter asked.
But Politico ran a poll yesterday, I'm not sure if you saw it, finding that 53% of Americans think that there should be a ban on transgender athletes competing in women's sports. Included in that were 40% of Democratic respondents who agreed that there should be a ban, and 49% of independents. Obviously, the president is committed to advancing LGBTQ rights, but looking at this through his call for unity lens, do you think these opinions are coming more from a place of trying to protect women's rights or equality in athletics, or are these just flat-out bigoted opinions that the president shouldn't acknowledge at this point in time?
The opinions in the poll?
Yeah.
Well,
people who voiced support for banning transgender athletes.
I did not conduct the poll, nor was I part of the polling committee that had conversations with people. What I can convey to you is that the president believes, regardless of this poll in Politico, did you say Politico, I guess? I didn't see the poll or the article, but I didn't read Playbook. But the president believes that transgender rights are human rights, that kids should not be discriminated against and should be able to play sports. And that continues to be his belief. And that hasn't changed. But I'm not going to guess or attribute motive to the people who responded to that poll or any poll, actually.
Okay. And well, she shouldn't. She doesn't know their opinions. But the opinion of the Biden regime has not changed toward boys get to keep competing against girls, except in states where they're smart enough to pass a law saying no. But of course, all of that will be challenged in court. You know, what about a little girl's right? What about a little girl's right? Or even a teenage girl's right, or a young woman's right? Oh, we're just a sad, sad people. Bye, Doc. See you tomorrow. And if you want to know what's going on, who's steering the show, Secular Democrats of America, read their document at seculardems.org. It's about 28 pages or so. We also did a show on this on President's Day. You need to go. You know, as far as I know, we haven't had a transgender president yet, as far as I know. There are rumors that say once there was a female pope who presented herself as a male. And maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. So maybe. I know we had that transgender FBI director for a while, Herbert Hoover, so they say, but I think he would just classify as your old-fashioned run-the-mill transvestite. But we move on. Where are we moving to? Oh, this seemed to fit right here with the godless Dems who want everything godless only as it applies to Christianity, because the heavily Democratic state of California is doing this little fun thing, proposing it. It hasn't been approved yet, but they've proposed it. California proposes curriculum with chanting name of Aztec god who accepts human sacrifice. And, you know, that's just fun. They're going to learn about Aztec gods, and it's to help people get along better and to promote a sense of unity, so the kids get to chant Aztec god names. You can read the whole article, go on Fox News. And just for those of you who say he just parrots Fox News, no, I do not. We do all kinds of news sources. I do not watch Fox News. It's just I check all kinds of news sources. But yet they are going to... You know, it's okay. Aztecs were really not a come-together people, but somehow if they sit there and chant the name of Aztec gods, they come closer together and feel more unified and just, folks, that's religion in school. Oh, they're not real. Oh, I could do some instructing on that, but not today. It's not the time nor the place. What do we have here? Oh, latest weekly jobless claims fall to 712,000, paving way for spring hiring bounce back. Yeah, the economy's starting to bounce back. And you know why? Because people are starting to what? They're starting to what? Yeah, because people are opening up even before the stimulus bill, which was signed into law today, the formal ceremony and celebration coming tomorrow. But no, jobless claims are going down as they should be, as we do what? Open up. See, that's the big fix. That's why. This is why they were rushing so hard. They wanted this stimulus bill in before things started looking better. Because it's a payoff. CBO said, no, we don't even have to do it. But it's okay. Everybody likes it. Everybody wants it. I don't blame people. Consumer prices accelerated in February, even as Biden's spending plan sparks inflation fears. Yes. So, if you've been to the store, you've noticed that. I've noticed prices have started ticking up on several things as I go to stores. I know you think I'm just too big of a celebrity to actually do my own shopping, but no, I do it. I like to stay in touch with you, the little people. How big am I? I'm in the phone. I don't know. Anyway, COVID relief legislation popular with Americans. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't it be? Like I said, it's the big payoff. They're going to go out over the next few weeks and tell everybody how great it is. And yeah, I mean, some families are going to make out like bandits. And some people need it. Again, the government shut us down. The government should be taking care of us. Your state, your local, they should be paying all your bills. except for people who are still working and don't need it, but we're not doing that. And of course, we're going to be sending out a lot of money every month or however they do it I mean, there's so much in here. It's not about helping you. See, that's the quiet money. So you're getting hush money so you don't complain about everything else. This bill is $1.9 trillion. We don't even have a budget for the next year. And there are other bills. I just in my head calculated that they could probably propose $10 trillion worth of spending just this year. Our gross domestic product in 2019 was like 22 trillion. So that would be almost half of the best year we've had in almost forever. If not the best, that would be the best year ever. And so that would be half of GDP. But because they're not stopping 1.9 trillion, this is your hush money. And you didn't even get $2,000 like was promised. You got $1,400 if you make under so much. But you know, it's popular. Who in their right mind thinks it wouldn't be popular? I mean, my goodness, yeah, it's popular. All right, why is this here? Oh, this went with the other one. The number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time totaled 712,000 last week, according to data released Thursday by the Department of Labor. Economists had predicted 725,000 claims for the week ending March 6th. So, you know, we're starting to look good. That's just normal. You know, it's what eventually has to happen, isn't it? All right. Now remember, the president's going to do a speech tonight, telling 1 year since, you know, the shutdown started. I think that's what it is. And we've got a little more on that as we proceed in the show. You'll be glad to know your pretend president has been hard at work on his speech. Unfortunately, it will not be a pretend speech. Farmers react to billions in COVID-19 relief bill for black farmers. Where did common sense go? And of course, we told you about this. The $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package that pretend President Biden, is set to sign includes billions of dollars in debt relief and other assistance for farmers of color. And we told you this. This is part of racial equity. And so they're getting the $1,400 and all the other credits. Plus, you're going to love this. One person said, this would be Kelly Griggs, just because you're a certain color, you don't have to pay back money. I don't care if you're purple, black, yellow, white, gray. If you borrow money, you have to pay it back. Kelly Griggs, who runs her 1,800-acre farm with her husband in Humboldt, Tennessee, told Fox News in an interview. My reaction is, where did common sense go? Griggs said. We can't strike. We can't stop. That's just the part that really sucks, because farmers are just, you know, stuck. You can't go and complain to anybody. You work for yourself. Where else are we? Here we are. My reaction is, where did common sense go? We already read that. Keep up. These people in Washington who make decisions for us and our livelihood have probably never stepped foot on a real farm, and obviously most of them haven't. I, ladies and gentlemen, have set foot on a real farm in years past. It's been a while. The relief package includes an estimated $4 billion to pay up to 120% of Black, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American farmers' outstanding debt as of January 1st. 120%. So if you owe $100,000, you could get not only the $100,000 to pay off, but a $20,000 bonus for having $100,000 debt. 120%. Who does that? Who says, here, we're going to help you pay off your debt plus give you more money besides? I don't. 120% of it? Plus there's, I don't know if here it is. All right, keep it going, yeah. Okay, the package also designates about $1 billion for equity commissions, agricultural training, improved land access, and other assistance to advance racial justice in farming. 120% of their debt. How? Who thought? Oh, we need to give them 120% plus. We'll just give them some money because they're people of color. That's what equity commissions are. It's okay. Pay off. Why don't we just pay off all farm debt? Also, why don't we pay off everybody's debt? No, it's not racist to think that. All right. I mean, it's just, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to enter my password for my Google account right now. Democrats' enormous $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill is just spending porn, Senator John Kennedy, Republican of Louisiana, said Thursday on Fox and Friends, arguing that the pandemic is being used by the left for many other things not related to COVID-19, which is true, as we just witnessed with the Farm Bill. I mean, that's just weird. I voted against it, President Biden says it's coronavirus bill, and my response is, really? Right? And the stripper really likes you. I said the other day that calling this a coronavirus bill is like calling Harvey Weinstein a feminist. That's pretty funny. It's just chock full of spending porn, and there are parts of it that I liked. I like trying to help people who are unemployed, and I like trying to help our small business people, especially our restaurants. Yeah, they've been hurt. Well, let's just keep going. But I don't understand why we have to give bucket loads of money to prisoners. Why do they need help? I don't understand why we have to give money to people who are in our country illegally. I don't understand why we have to give money to states whose revenues have gone up. I don't understand why we have to give $130 billion to schools that refuse to open. I don't know why we have to pay reparations. This bill has a reparations provision. I hadn't found that, but he voted on it. Let's go to slide number 4. And if you add up all the coronavirus spending and then all the spending porn, there's no comparison. To me, using a coronavirus bill to effectuate spending porn is like looting after a natural disaster, and that's why I voted against it. We tried with President Biden, and he said, okay, I'll meet you halfway. We said, okay, and then he just ignored us. I mean, if he was meeting us halfway, he has his words, not mine, downpour judgment of distance. That's pretty funny, though. All right. Okay. So, lots of stuff in there, and it's too late now. It's too late now. That's just the way it goes. It's law. Unless somebody can stop it through a court action, which I doubt that's going to happen. Where did we leave off? Well, we were there, now we're there. Okay, here we are. A lot of slides today, so it's confusing me. U.S. stimulus is delivering the cash to Mexicans that AMLO won't, because that is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, the president of Mexico, who's trying to get that country into fiscal shape. Well, what happens every time there's a big stimulus program? A lot of Mexican expatriates send a lot of money home. So we're helping the whole hemisphere. It's like, great. All we can do to help. We care. All right, we already had one, but we're going to be starting to have some Jen. And she made me mad today because it took so long to start the press conference, and I'm just sitting there waiting. And so it made me think of this. Okay, I think it says all that I think about her pretty well. All right. Got to be careful. I may be getting close to copyright violations there, or licensing violations. But this This is just weird. The president's going to give his speech, and she feels the need to let us know. I think this is what this is. Feels the need to let us know how hard he's been working on it. I think this is it. If not, well, wait a minute. Well, we're having there we go, some phone issues today.
Even while he is focused on getting the American Rescue Plan across the finish line, he's been reviewing drafts of the speech. Last week he was, and of course through the course of this week, and making line edits. He's been providing line edits in order to ensure that he is striking the right tone and providing the right level of clarity as he prepares to address the country this evening.
Yes, as he prepares to address the country this evening. He is making all these revisions, been working on, even though he was focused on getting it passed and across the finish line, he has been working on this speech for 2 weeks, making all the edits and everything else. You know, I'm not saying that's not true. And she brings it up several times during the press briefing, and she's proud of it. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not saying, at one point, I guess we should have had the clip, because now it seems funny. It says he likes to ask the question, what does that mean? When they're going over speeches with him. And I wonder, because he likes to listen like he's one of us, but I wonder, anyway, so he's been working hard on this, so you've got to watch it tonight and see if you can pick up his line edits. I'm sure he's got a few come on mans and straight from the shoulder. He's going to say that. I promised you I'd give it, as Franklin Roosevelt said, straight from the shoulder. Who gives anything straight from the shoulder? Your mouth is above the shoulder there, Joe. It's up here, shoulders down here. Straight from the mouth is what it should be. I don't know. Oh, we have some environmental news. So there's our snapshot shot of John Kerry and his family. Anyway, looking good there, John. Just, you're making fun of people. These people are mean, they're cruel, and everything else. And he happens to have a very large face that is shaped just like the Easter Island statues. Matter of fact, they wanted to put him on a coin, but no one would be able to carry a coin that large. I'm just making that up. All right. Now, you won't like this, but Kerry and company will. Why $4 a gallon gas may be coming your way this summer. Yeah, the summer they open back up and you can hit the road in your nice, beautiful, whatever you have, $4 a gallon gas. Even though there's plenty of gas. It's just one of those things. What else do we have in environmental news? Biden shocks environmentalists, supports gas pipeline in Supreme Court case. Natural gas pipeline. It was approved under the Trump administration, and they sued. It's going to the Supreme Court, and the Biden regime is supporting the pipeline. You know, they're going through dropping all these other suits and saying we don't want to support that. We don't want to argue for it now that President Trump and his people are gone. But this they want to keep. Why do you want to keep this pipeline, Joe? Oh, yeah, I'll show you why in just a moment as we get to it, because of where it's at. See, this is a, wait a minute, wrong paragraph. Let's get up here. This is a pipeline of 120 miles to carry natural gas from Pennsylvania to New Jersey. I think we're paying off Pennsylvania a little bit there. What do you think? That will meet growing energy demand in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, one of the project shareholders told us. So that pipeline's okay. That'll protect good jobs there and bring natural gas into New Jersey along the way in Pennsylvania, but can't do it up in South Dakota. Can't have that pipeline come all the way down to Texas and create jobs. I'm starting to think some of this Now hear me, I know it's out there, I know it's a wild guess. I'm starting to think some of this is just political. It's really not environmental at all. I know. Can't be, can it? Can't be. No, because if it was environmental, wouldn't every pipeline be subject to cancellation? No, so it can't be political. Cannot. We just won't think that. We won't think that way about Uncle Joe.
Happy to do that.
And then just one quick one on green jobs. You guys have talked a lot about tackling the climate crisis while creating good-paying jobs. Now the president of the Texas AFL-CIO has come out to say someone working in a refinery leaving to go install solar panels, they're probably going to take a 75% cut in pay. Is that something the administration is aware of?
I'm not sure which jobs are being compared there. Here's what I can convey to you. The president is committed during his presidency to invest in, work with labor unions, with climate activists, with with the industry to invest in good paying, clean energy jobs. And he believes that unions have an incredibly important role to play in ensuring that those are high paying jobs, that those treat the people who are in them with the respect and value that they deserve through collective bargaining rights and a range of the benefits of union organizing, being a part of a union. Obviously, that requires additional work and investment by the federal government working with Congress to invest in what we see as industries of the future. Oil and gas jobs are not going away. There are many industries that are, of course, continuing to function. The outgoing administration flooded the oil markets with cheap federal leases. This will not affect oil and gas production or jobs for years to come. But what our objective is to invest in what we see as the industries of the future, where we feel is where the jobs are going to be moving forward. And the president looks forward to continuing delivering on his commitment to doing exactly that.
High paying, good paying, but equal paying?
High paying, good paying jobs. I think we're comparing a little bit of, I'm not sure what specific jobs you're comparing. What I'm conveying is the commitment to ensuring that jobs in the clean energy industry will be high paying union jobs. That's what the president's objective and commitment is to.
Not just high-paying jobs, but high-paying union jobs. You have to be part of a union to enter into this, and they're not going to be equal, ladies and gentlemen. They are not. By the way, the Biden administration is moving to approve wind energy turbines being installed along Martha's Vineyard, but fish hatcheries may be in danger, but they don't care about that. They only care about environmental concerns when oil and natural gas is concerned, unless, of course, it's to pay off some campaign needs or something. I mean, it's just... Okay, this should upset everybody. I read the article. It's quite extensive on what it's about. As a crop, cannabis has enormous carbon emissions. That's right. Pot adds to climate change, global warming, or whatever you want to call it. It takes a lot to grow it. It puts off a lot of carbon. Plus, that doesn't even take in consideration all the smoking of it, which where we live, the people around us smoke a lot of it. I mean, no, we got to have that, though. We can't have oil for our cars or cheap electricity, but we've got to have cannabis. Of course, you're going to need cannabis if this administration is around much longer. Anyway, I know. I'm not encouraging drug use.
Number of Indian Americans who came to this country as illegal immigrants and want to make this as a home, they feel that this administration is not much focused on resolving the issues related to legal immigrants, rather than they are more focused on illegal immigrants. So what do you have to say on that?
I would say you should write an article about how the president's immigration bill proposes a number of fixes or changes in the legal and legislative system to ensure that those issues are addressed, and we're eager to move that forward with members of both parties.
I want China.
Kind of a quick segue there. He didn't ask about issues. He said, you're more focused. And she said, write an article and we want those issues to be addressed. She just, okay, I'm just going to say something just to get him off my back. I thought I'd throw in some legal immigration questions since we have so many illegal immigration questions. You know why? Because we are overrun at the border. So we must what? We feel the need to make a run for the border. Yes, make a run for the border. That's where all the news is. Who do we have first? Oh, yes. Well, what happened? The clip isn't showing up.
Así que yo creo que es muy importante subrayar el caso que la frontera no está cerrada y el viaje es muy peligroso y la gente realmente no debían llegar a los Estados Unidos en una manera irregular ahora.
You're telling them not to come.
Yes, so Ambassador Jacobson yesterday said, I don't have a clue what she said. She said, so I think it is very important to underline the case that the border is not closed and the trip very dangerous and people really should not arrive in the United States in an irregular way now. Later, it's okay to come in an irregular way, but right now the border is not closed. Yes, supposedly she meant to say the border is not open. But why wouldn't you just say the border is closed? I don't know where the video went. It's on there. It just didn't show up. Never had that happen. This is kind of interesting. I don't know what happened. We are missing a lot of slides. We'll find them after this.
Travelers have to show a negative COVID test, proof of a negative COVID test when they fly into the U.S. from any foreign country. But travelers don't need to show anything like that when they just walk across the border as long as they don't go to a port of entry.
Well, I think there's been a lot of confusion about what's been happening at the border as it relates to people who are coming across and what happens when they come across. And I know Governor Abbott down in Texas has expressed some of his concerns, and many of those have not been based in fact. So let me go through a few of those because I know we're all interested in facts around here. One, Governor Abbott has referred to what's happening at the border as open borders, as us having an open borders policy. That is absolutely incorrect. The border is not open. The vast majority of individuals apprehended or encountered at the border continue to be denied entry and are returned under Title 42, as we've already mentioned. Also, he has suggested that we are not vaccinating CBP officers. Again, we like to deal with facts around here. There's no higher priority than the health and safety of our federal workforce. And the Department of Homeland Security and CBP has been clear that currently more than 64,000 frontline DHS employees, including members of U.S. Border Patrol, have received a vaccination. So that's another point, just to provide full clarity. The other piece is the question about the testing of migrants at the border, or testing of migrants as they are coming across. And we have DHS and FEMA have stepped in and worked with local mayors, NGOs, and public health officials in Texas to implement a system to provide COVID-19 testing and, as needed, isolation and quarantine for families released from Border Patrol facilities. Their proposal and agreement would cover 100% of the expense of the testing, isolation, and quarantine. But Governor Abbott has decided to reject that. So there's a lot of confusion about these issues, and I just wanted to provide a little point of clarity here.
But not asking about Governor Abbott, asking about President Biden in charge of the federal government. Why are the feds relying on NGOs to administer these tests? We've talked to people down at the border who say that migrants are only tested if they show symptoms. That seems like a loophole.
That's not an accurate depiction. There's an important role that NGOs, that local mayors, that local officials play in working together. And this is a proposal that was worked with DHS, with FEMA and others to help address and ensure that people are tested. And Governor Abbott, I raised that simply because he had raised a concern about that. And I wanted to be clear that we've put forward a proposal. So I think the question is, why is he standing in the way of local communities getting the funding and support they need to help with testing, isolation, and quarantining efforts?
But again, just a question about Biden administration policy. COVID is COVID. COVID at the Dulles Airport Customs is the same as COVID in a border town. So I'm curious why it is that it's enforced for people flying in from other countries, but it is not a requirement by the federal government to test or to prove a negative test anywhere along the border except at a port of entry.
Well, again, I can just describe to you what our policies are. If there's more to convey to you, I'm happy to do that.
And then just one quick one on...
Again, why not just, we're not doing it or we are? Because they're not. I mean, what does that matter? If you come into the country on a plane with your passport, your visa, or you're an American citizen returning home, they check you out. But across the border? Well, no, she said that's not happening. Feel sorry for Ducey. He's probably feeling this right now. Yep, lost and found in a border town for those of you who prefer country. And nothing is working here today, right? Bye, Brooks and Dunn. So, anyway, that's the way Steve's feeling. Peter, Steve is his dad. Peter is feeling lost and found in that border town. All right, we've got some reading to do here, so listen up. Texas governor deploys National Guard to Mexico border in Operation Lone Star, and he slams Biden policies. We wanted the governor to respond to Jen, but they just sent us the article. And also we have a mayor coming up and some Border Patrol responses to all of this. So bear with, nobody could drive up to Amarillo today. We were going to serve tea and cookies. But no, just read the article, Danny. You're not important enough now. Well, let's see when he's running for election and he wants to talk then, huh? Yeah, I'll remember, Gov. I'll remember. All right. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the state's Department of Public Safety will deploy the Texas National Guard to the United States-Mexico border as part of Operation Lone Star to prevent Mexican cartels and traffickers from smuggling people and drugs into the state. On a side note, the National Guard, I don't know where the slide went, but the head of the National Guard, the general in charge of the National Guard, is not happy that National Guard's men and women are kept at the Capitol because they are stretched too thin, but that's another issue. Describing the situation as a border crisis. Oh, somebody knows the word. The Republican governor made the announcement on Twitter Saturday. He said the operation involves the deployment of the Texas National Guard, as well as air, ground, marine, and tactical border security assets to deny Mexican cartels and smugglers the ability to move drugs and people into Texas. In a statement, the governor was critical of the Biden administration, which has pledged, I think they've done it, pledged to reverse the Trump administration's strict immigration policies that aim to thwart smuggling and illegal immigration through the southern border. I think they've made their pledge made good on their pledge. That's the way to say it, isn't it? The crisis at our southern border continues to escalate because of Biden administration policies that refuse to secure the border and invite illegal immigration. Remember? Come on down. Yeah, well, I think somewhere we've got that. Where'd it go? Abbott was quoted as saying to local news outlet KFOX 14, Texas supports legal immigration but will not be an accomplice to the open border policies that cause rather than prevent a humanitarian crisis in our state, endanger the lives of Texans. We will surge the resources and law enforcement personnel needed to confront this crisis. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big. Border areas being overrun. It doesn't matter what Jen says. The operation was launched as the Department of Homeland Security has warned that the largest immigration wave in 2 decades could arrive in the next few months. That's not Governor Abbott warning that. That's the Biden regime warning that. As the Washington Post notes, U.S. agents took nearly double the number of migrants into custody on several days last week than they did in January. Additionally, almost 350 teens and children have crossed the border without their parents each day, 4 times as many as last fall. According to the newspaper, many immigrants have been held for days in detention cells waiting for shelter openings. Last month, Abbott met with DPS Director Colonel Steve McGraw to discuss strategies to ensure safety and security along the border. Around 300 South Carolina National Guard members are also deployed at points along the 2,000-mile stretch dividing the U.S. border and Mexico, and they are there largely as support. I hope that's right. Yes. 2,000-mile stretch dividing the U.S. border and Mexico as they help understaffed federal law enforcement amid the recent surge in migrant crossings, according to the Post and Courier. As Biden vowed during the 2020 campaign to reverse many of former President Trump's policies, the Trump administration sought to ensure that migrant asylum seekers would remain in Mexico while their cases were processed in the U.S. Last week, the Washington Post reported that the Biden administration is planning to convert immigrant family detention centers in South Texas into rapid processing hubs to screen migrant parents and children and release them within 72 hours. Yeah, Jen, what you got to say to that? Representative Henry Cuellar, Democrat, Texas, recently criticized the Biden administration last Thursday. The Democrat said that Border Patrol agents had apprehended as many as 10,000 migrants within the previous 7 days. You just can't say, yeah, let everybody in, because then we're affected down there at the border. The bad guys know how to market this, he said in a recent interview with Axios. According to the Houston Chronicle, Cuellar warned that we are weeks, maybe even days away from a crisis on the southern border. He can't say it's a crisis now because he's Democrat. Inaction is simply not an option, Cuellar said. Our country is currently unprepared to handle a surge in migrants in the middle of the pandemic. Del Rio Mayor Bruno Lozano, in a video last month, called on Biden to halt any measures regarding the release of immigrants awaiting court dates into Del Rio and the surrounding areas. And we gave you the little article on that. I mean, we're way ahead here. If you watch our show, you're about a day ahead of most news. I've noticed that. According to the Houston Chronicle, Cuellar warned, we already read that. Come on. We do not have, the Del Rio mayor continues, we do not have the resources available to house and accommodate these migrants within our communities. The mayor argued, I will have no choice but to use the extreme measure under the declaration as the mayor of the city of Del Rio, Texas, to refuse the entry of migrants awaiting court dates into the city of Del Rio. Now, if you've ever been to Del Rio, it's not your basic white little enclave on the border. And yet they are saying enough is enough. We can't keep doing this. Yeah. If you do send these individuals into our community, we will be forced to make a decision to leave them without resources under these dire circumstances, he added. I am asking to please stop. Please make another plan for this federal issue. And this is from the Christian Post, which I think is a very well put together article. What else do we have here? Was that number 8? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Oh, we have another mayor Texas mayor border situation under Biden is going to get bad fast. Going to get bad. The way he talks, it sounds pretty bad already. So, let's see. Texas Mayor Don McLaughlin Jr. said the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border is going to get bad fast and warned the 2019 immigration surge will seem like a cakewalk compared to what happened under President Biden. McLaughlin Jr. said Wednesday during an appearance on America Reports that his city of Uvalde, again, not a white enclave of just white people not wanting to help the lowly immigrants, is experiencing a dramatic surge in immigrant-related apprehensions and crimes, including an increase in high-speed car chases between police and smugglers. And Uvalde is not a big place. I mean, it's not like Southern California, you know, where one city goes into the next and everything. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff. We're having 10 to 12 chases, high-speed chases through our communities a week now, McLaughlin said. We've never seen this before. McLaughlin added the chases ranged anywhere from 95 to 105 miles an hour and also noted an increase in break-ins throughout the region by illegal immigrants. He said, fault lies with the federal government for failing to anticipate and handle the rise in migrant crossings, which Jen says isn't happening. That's the fact. She knows the facts because she's down here. She wasn't even on the special secret mission sent down here. McLaughlin added the Biden administration needs to shut down the border immediately and have people enter the country through legal processes, or local governments in Texas will continue to deal with the fallout, including an influx of COVID-positive migrants. That can't happen. Despite this, the Biden administration continues to reject calling the situation a crisis. Asked about the issue during her press conference Tuesday, which we probably reported on, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki pushed back on adding labels to the challenging situation. And we know what she says. We hear it all the time. According to Representative Henry Cuellar, last week thousands of migrants haven't been tested, and we heard what he said. So let's go to this because this is kind of interesting. COVID-19 protocols, but it's unclear how much authorities were screening migrants for the virus. According to Henry Cuellar, they're not following COVID-19 protocols, but border agents disagreed, telling the outlet that CBP personnel conduct initial inspections for symptoms or risk factors associated with COVID-19 and consult with on-site medical personnel. The U.S. Centers U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or local health systems are as appropriate. So, if you show symptoms, they'll bring you in to get tested, just like Peter said earlier. Just like he said. They're not just testing, you have to show symptoms. If they catch you at all. If they do anything at all. I mean, it's just totally nuts. And then they've started this, because of time we can't go into it, but you can look at the Department of State webpage and see this. And this will come up in one of our clips. We are restarting the Central American Minors Program, where children do not have to come here to try to get in the country. They can file for it in their own country, which really makes me wonder, because there's like 3,000 that they already basically have paperwork on from before the program was shut down that weren't processed then. How do these kids even know to go file and ask if they can come? When I was a kid, I didn't know how to go file to ask if I could go to another country. Did you? Now, these are kids. Some of them are 9 or younger. Do they teach this in school? Do they pass out? Do they pick up kids in a van and say, let's go see if we can go to America today, kids? I don't understand that. How does that even... No one's explained that. I'm tired of living in this horrible Honduran village. I will go and apply to go to the United States of America. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, if I told my mom and dad, oh, I went down and applied today to move to Canada, I wouldn't have been able to go to Canada because I probably wouldn't have been alive. But anyway, hey, that would have been a reason to go to Canada then, wouldn't it? No, it's really nothing bad at home, but once I tell them I did this, I pretty much have to go to Canada. I don't understand how all this works. I've tried. I've tried to figure it out. This is great.
Mexico's president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, says the people coming into the U.S. right now see Biden, President Biden, as the migrant president. Does the White House take that as a compliment?
The migrant president. She did not answer really anything concerning that. Why would anybody think that as they're all wearing their Biden please let us in t-shirts? Oh, but the question came back up. All right, let's get it in.
Try one more time on the issue at the border and just follow up on the comments of the Mexican president who said that the surge in unaccompanied migrants is because they see the president as the migrant president. What does that say about how the president is handling this situation?
Look, I think the president has been clear, as has every member of our administration. You had Ambassador Jacobson doing this the other day, that the border is not open. Now is not the time to come. We turn away the vast majority of people who come to the border. The vast majority. These numbers are put out by CBP and the Department of Homeland Security, and people can see those numbers. We stand by our decision and our policy as an administration not to send unaccompanied minors back on the treacherous journey. So, you know, that is our policy because we feel it's humane and it's moral, and we think the world sees it that way as well.
Does the message need to be even clearer, though? Yesterday, Ambassador Jacobson acknowledged that, yes, she said in her own words, you're trying to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
Does there need to be a more streamlined message in order to prevent this surge?
Well, she also talked about, Kristen, which is true, in the region we're working against the efforts of smugglers and others who are conveying a different message. One of the steps we're taking that I touched on a little bit earlier is also thinking of rebuilding or going back to some of the policies that were in place previously, where children could apply for the Central American Minors Program, which was ended in 2017. We estimate there's about 3,000 kids who might be eligible, who could apply, and they could apply from the region, which would mean they wouldn't make the treacherous journey. They wouldn't be at the border working through Border Patrol. And so we're looking for ways to reduce the number of kids who are taking this treacherous journey. And then we're also looking for ways to expedite when kids are connected to family members, to safe sponsor homes. And we're looking for ways to expedite getting them from the Border Patrol facilities into the shelters as well. So there's numbers challenges here, and we're working through a lot of the operational details and specifics, but we stand by what we feel is a more humane approach to what is happening at the border, and we are looking for ways operationally to make it more efficient, to move kids through the system more quickly, and ultimately when they get to the point where we're there with sponsor homes, many of them will not be able to stay. Most of them. They have to apply and they have to go through the process. But we still are working for ways to expedite the system in the meantime.
As I said, 3,000 already in line in Honduras, Guatemala, wherever. How many kids are there in Central America? Why don't we just do like the Obama administration did, just drive down, pick kids up, and bring them in, and then, oh, we don't have anybody to take care of them. Let's go back and get their family. You don't have to make your voice heard because they're not changing a bit. All I keep hearing from them is
Angela Fuentes, come on down. Angela Fuentes, come on down.
They keep saying we can do better with our message, but then they say how they're working to open up the pathways for them to come. I mean, it's like, no, you can't have candy before dinner. Let me get you some candy before dinner. No, don't reach in there and get it yourself. Next time, ask me. I'll reach in there and get the candy before dinner for you. There's legal ways to do this, kid. I don't. It's like I've told you, they just want them here. They just want them here. And if they want them here, fine. Just be honest about it. No, we're going to let everybody that wants to come. I mean, that's what they said in the campaign. Well, quickly, we're going to give you some inside information. Time is going. I'm sorry, we just had a lot of stuff to read. We do have a responsibility here. It can't all be fun and games. Come on. All right. And tomorrow we will go over some of the gun laws they're passing in the House and look at voting rights acts and all kinds of fun stuff. Tuesday, expect a sharp change in policy, for they have been overrun and can no longer talk their way out of the border or hide. I'm assuming that's concerning the border. So, Tuesday, expect some policy changes because they're stuck. Ladies and gentlemen, they are over their heads. They don't have a clue what they're doing. Tomorrow, as we will tell you about the gun laws the House passed today, they're going to really, even with all the celebrating, and they've got what they call the Quad Conference between China and some other countries and different things. They're really starting in on the new focus on guns. Be prepared for projected executive orders to be announced and to come out soon. Biden is very uneasy over his future, so watch for unexpected gaffes as he goes out to promote the American Rescue Plan. Yeah, because he's going to try to show everybody he can do it. And he's practicing. He's been working on this speech, making line edits for a couple of weeks, even the first part of the month. That's why he looks so tired and worn out and can't think most of the time. He's been too much speech working. Help the man out. Get him a speechwriter. Jill wants to steer more policy like Michelle Obama did, but has very, very little support in-house. So listen to her on the tour as well to see if she starts stepping out of bounds. Yeah. Jill wants to be Michelle. All right. There is a big private meeting is scheduled that will be between Schumer, Pelosi, and Biden. And it's going to be 2 versus 1. As they want a shift in policy away from some of Biden's plans to theirs. But all that, of course, has to be ultimately approved by the real people in charge. No news on that meeting. An outside voice is entering and is going to get heard, so be listening, maybe on a Sunday show. They are going to steer left. And you say, how much more left can this regime get? Far left. I knew you were asking that. I had that answer right there. Far left. So much that it will shock even those that like it going left. Waves. What is that? I don't know what I said. Anyway, waves of opposition to come. Waves of opposition. Yeah, I had that written down, far left. That worked out well, didn't it? All right, it's time to go. Sorry, it's getting so involved. There's so much we should have had in today's show, you know. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Hey, try to keep a smile on your face. Watch Biden tonight. See if we can pick out his line edits. I'm excited. I can't wait. Anyway, bye.